It's Mental Health Monday with Hope, a sanctuary where hearts can find solace. Together, we stand strong, united in our journey, discovering the strength within ourselves. Have no fear, for we're not alone.
Hey everyone, welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Hope. My name is Hope. I hope you're having a great day. We finally got some rain here in Northeast PA. We needed it, but I sure enjoyed the sunshine. So tonight we are talking with Dr. Denise. She is a nurse practitioner who works in addictions, and we're going to get her perspective on things. So welcome to Dr. Denise. And here she is. So Dr. Denise is actually at work right now. And, if she has to take care of any situations, then she'll be leaving us early. And, Kendall and I will chit chat. So Dr. Denise, before you tell us a little bit about yourself, I always start the show with a positive affirmation that starts with I am. So can you say something about yourself that I am what? Oh, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Dr. Denise? Da, da, da. Okay, well, while we're trying to figure out why Dr. Denise can't hear us, we're just going to chit chat a little bit ourselves. So before going on air, I was talking with Dr. Denise about some different things with addiction and how it relates to mental health. And hopefully we get into that with her as soon as we can figure out the sound. But, one of the questions that I had for her was kind of like one of those, which came first, the chicken or the egg sort of questions. Is it mental health? Is it addiction? Which one comes first?
You got to come back in.
And so, we talked a little bit about the addictive personality, but, that's something in someone's mental health or their mental status does trigger addiction a lot of times. And we discussed gateway drugs, which I can't wait to talk to her about because one of the things that she said is that marijuana is considered a gateway drug. And, I said that there are many, many people that don't believe that marijuana is not considered a gateway drug. But we talked about, that it does alter your mental state. Whereas I can see it being a gateway behavior versus the drug itself, because here in Pennsylvania, marijuana is still illegal. So it's kind of like the behavior of purchasing, the behavior of smoking, not any place else. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Who, Denise?
Dr. Denise?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry, I came in. I didn't know I had to come out and log back in.
All right. I'm not getting anything.
Oh, Lord.
Can you hear me, Dr. Denise?
I can hear you, but can you hear me?
But I can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Pausing here for a second. Stop. In the net. No. I'm just being my goofy old self. Yes, you can hear us, but we can't hear you. Yes. So we're going to keep moving here. And Dr. Denise is working. She's at work right now. And she works in the Bronx for her full-time job, and then also works here locally in the Pocono Mountain area. So, and then is completely what she works in is addictions. All right. There's something on your end, Dr. Denise.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, there you are.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good. So, I started by asking you to state a positive affirmation about yourself, like an I am statement. What would you like to share?
I am a go-getter, resilient, motivated. I am multiple things.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, I think we all are.
I am woman, hear me roar.
There you go. I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about you, about your background, where you grew up, why you
So,
decided to go into nursing and doing what you do.
okay, so I'm originally from New York. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Manhattan. Um, Eventually moved. My parents moved up to upstate New York, and
Okay.
then I moved to the Poconos in 2011. So I've been in the Poconos from then until present.
Oh,
Um, Nursing is my second career. I graduated from Oakwood College University with a degree in biology with the plans of going to med school. But I taught biology for a little while and that didn't happen. Then I went back into nursing and been working as a nurse for the past 15 years in
okay.
addiction. I started in the department. I'm under Department of Psychiatry. So I was actually in psychiatry before we opened our addiction units. And then once that opened, I can't remember the year, but I've been in addiction starting in detox, and now I am presently the charge nurse in a rehab unit. And I also work part time at Brookdale, which is also addiction facility, specializing in
Right.
multiple substance use disorder.
Right, right. Was there, a reason in particular that drew you to addictions?
No, not actually. I was offered the charge nurse position in addiction, and I took it, and that's where I've been since. But we
Okay.
fall under the category of psychiatry, so it was just a transition of learning the addiction meds and addiction behavior, addiction withdrawals, and
Right.
going it from there.
What is something that you feel that you've learned that, maybe was different from psychiatry to addiction specific? Something that was like, oh, wow, yeah, I never thought about that. Or, I never had that understanding.
Well, as pertaining to the addiction piece and dealing with individuals who are substance use disorders, their behavior is a lot different than an actual true psych patient because addictive behavior can also be deemed as manipulative, and
Right.
that psych is unaware of some of the things that they're doing. But addiction
Right.
individuals, they know what they're doing and they're try to beat the system per se.
Right. Do you think that would fall under personality disorders at all?
It may because I be, I believe that in addiction there is some form of disorder mentally along with their addiction. Some may be
Right.
undiagnosed, some may be diagnosed, and it could be personality, it could be borderline, it could be schizo, it could be depression, anxiety. There's so many, but if that individual is true to understanding why they are using and why they have this addictive personality, and they learn and get a true diagnosis, because a lot of people are not diagnosed correctly. Um,
Right.
they may be able to understand why they're using or why they turn
Right.
to a substance to mask whatever else is going on in their life.
Right, right. I know, we had talked about before we went on air, kind of like one of those which came first, the chicken or the egg scenarios. And you stated that, like you just said, a lot of times it's an underlying mental health issue. Then
Mhm.
the individual turns to some sort of a substance to kind of relieve whatever it is that they are feeling from that mental health disorder. And,
Yes.
I agree with you on that completely. I worked in a detox center as well, and I didn't do the whole. I'm a social worker, and didn't do the full gamut. Obviously the detox is they come in and either choose to stay or don't choose to stay, and if they chose to stay and get help, then my role was to get them into a facility, kind of like I was the handoff person,
Okay.
to get them into a facility. Oh, Kendall has a question.
So I understand you guys one of the questions that came up is that whether marijuana is a gateway drugs. Marijuana also has a lot of good properties with it that other drugs, if you want to call it. What makes a drug a drug? That's a question I like to ask first. What makes a drug a drug?
So a drug to me is something that alters your mental state at that time, or it changes you. Don't get me wrong. When I was younger, I experienced and I smoked marijuana, but the first time I smoked it and it made my mind like woozy, I said, "Oh no, I would never do this again." But then there's things the marijuana, like if you grow it in your house and you boil it for healing purposes, I understand that. But when you mix it with other substance like the CBD and all the THC, then that becomes an altering state drug. And that means like it makes you feel the way you want to feel. So you use it to get that feeling.
So
And
you
then,
use
like,
it
some
to
people,
get that feeling, that euphoria feeling. But
yes.
can you get that same feeling from over-the-counter drugs? And then would they
No,
become
but
now? Would they become a gateway drug as well?
no, you can get like, even with me and Tylenol, if I take a 500 Tylenol, I don't take 500 because that makes me feel sleepy. But
Right.
if somebody takes, I can take a 325 and I'm fine. But if you have if you have an addictive personality and you know that NyQuil is going to give you that feeling, then you're going to continue to buy NyQuil. Then that becomes a drug to
Right.
you because you're abusing the NyQuil. You can abuse anything, just like you abuse food. But the moment you start
Right.
abusing it and it starts taking and consuming your life, then you have to check yourself and look into yourself more deeper, because there shouldn't be anything where you need to get up in the morning and take or without functioning. Like even with cigarettes, you shouldn't use smoking and you having nicotine withdrawals because you have to smoke. That's
And
you're
coffee.
addicted to, and coffee,
Mhm.
caffeine. So anything can be an altering substance as long as you realize that you need it to function or need it to go on about your day. That's how my
Right.
personal feeling. I don't know,
Right.
others say something different, but that's my
Right.
personal feeling.
You had talked about like the addictive personality, and I feel when we talk to individuals who are experiencing addiction, talking about that part of it is very important. I have a friend who is a recovering alcoholic, has not had a drop of alcohol in 22 or 23 years, but
Mhm.
replaced that addiction of alcohol with work. So, he comes home from his regular job and just switches out equipment and then goes out and works until he's ready to fall over from exhaustion, and then gets up the next morning and does it all over again. And, the addictive part of it was never addressed. It just switched to an addiction that his wife wouldn't be as mad at him
As
over, but it's
and
still an
that
addiction.
Yes, it's still, and that often happens when you let go of the drugs. You find something to replace, and you become obsessed with that. And some people are
Right.
accepting of, maybe you become obsessed with playing cards every night or whatever. But some people would rather you do that obsession than you using a substance that will alter your state.
True. But again, it's the whole addictive
Addictive
personality
personality.
aspect of it.
Yes, and a
Kendall, did
lot
you
of
have something?
I want to ask you a couple of questions. I'm sorry, I didn't want to break us off topic, but how long have you been in the field?
me.
Yes.
So I have been in addiction services for I was RN for 15 years. So I've worked in addiction because I started as a counselor. So maybe 22 years.
So in your 22 years, what would you say your best day was as a counselor? What have you done? What do you feel is your best day?
I don't have a best day. I wouldn't say I have a best day, but I do. It does bring light to my eyes to see somebody, because we have meetings here every Wednesday night, and somebody who comes or even graduates after being a year clean, a year with clean time, that is so lightening to me, because you were able to, like, we touched somebody, not just me, the whole rehab team touched somebody, and they were able to stay clean for up to 90 days or a year. And
Right.
it's uplifting, even though we've had some who were clean for 2 years and then relapse, but at least just to make it that whole year clean, that's uplifting to me. Like my some days of working, coming to the unit, some days can be rough because of the clientele that we may have, and some days may be smooth based on the
Right.
clientele we have. Because addictive personalities can be very needy at times, and that can be
Oh,
very
absolutely.
overwhelming.
Right. So
So,
Kendall asked what your best day was. Is there any day that stands out as maybe being a worse day?
well, the worst day while in addiction services is that we had a death on the unit, and it wasn't because of OD. It was because of a patient attacked a patient and actually killed him
Oh,
in his room. So that was
oh,
the
wow.
worst day, but it wasn't. That was the worst day, and that happened 2 years ago. So
Right. Oh, I'm sorry to hear
it's
that. I'm
not.
sorry to hear that.
It's nothing to say like I have a worst day or best day because of something happened on the unit, but that was a very rough day for the whole team.
Right. Absolutely. I get that. I know that you said, it wasn't drug related, but that made another question come to mind is, um, I'm sure there are many medical conditions that are attached to prolonged
Oh,
drug use.
yes. But that particular incident, I think we missed his actual diagnosis. I think he was hearing voices and
Okay.
we missed it.
Right.
And he wasn't on any medication. And that day I assessed him and we had a conversation. And I actually put in a referral for the psych to come see him because he wasn't on any medication. And I knew something was off.
Okay.
But I wasn't a psych NP at that time, so I couldn't prescribe the medication. But the psych
And I
didn't
mean,
get to see him, and it happened.
right. But sometimes, the voices or hallucinations don't manifest themselves, or even, an individual will deny that they're hearing them.
Yeah,
Uh, so it is very difficult. Like that is something that's just like diagnosing bipolar disorder. It's not something you just, see a person once or twice and you can make that diagnosis. It's after,
exactly.
spending time with them. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm starting to hear some voices.
Yeah, you're starting to hear some
Yeah,
voices.
You
man,
gotta
it's
go see.
starting to hear
You
some
gotta go
voices.
see
But
a
yeah, I think it's
psychiatrist.
just his stomach
It
rumbling.
might be, but I'm starting to hear some
Oh.
voices. I don't know. I might have to go medicate that.
Oh no,
No.
I think it's just his stomach
Hey,
rumbling.
Denise and Miss Hope,
You're
you
gonna.
guys do your thing.
All right,
You sound really good.
Kendall's
and thank
out.
you again for coming on.
Yeah.
And let's hope we see you in the future. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
Kendall's
no
gonna
problem.
Kendall's gonna skip out of the screen here.
Okay.
So, again, I want to go back to the marijuana as a gateway drug. And like I said, off air before we started, there are a lot of people that, would disagree with that. Me personally, I feel that even if, that debate about whether it's a gateway drug or not, I feel that the action, at least in Pennsylvania, because marijuana is not legal in Pennsylvania, but I feel the
Yes.
action could become a gateway because it's risky behavior.
Yes.
To buy marijuana illegally, to smoke it, in private somewhere. It's kind of like you're living on the edge a little bit. And as you're saying, people with addictive personality disorders, tend to be needy. Maybe they're like living that life on the edge, as which is a symptom basically of many disorders, could be the reason that marijuana is a gateway drug. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But to be honest with you, I'm so
Oh, I've lost you
kind of.
again.
Oh, hello.
I've lost your voice,
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
and I don't know if it's on our end or on your end.
No, it's all right.
Oh, Kendall says
I
it's on
just-
your end.
No, I didn't touch the phone.
As they say, I see your lips are moving, but I can't hear the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Um,
Oh, we got a drum roll.
I didn't touch the phone.
Hey, there you are. You're back.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good.
You are
Yes.
back.
So I went. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I find it kind of funny that marijuana is not legal in PA because they have a lot of dispensaries in the Poconos.
Right. So, of course, medicinal marijuana is legal and you have to have a card.
Yes. But I can have a card and I can just buy it from a friend and give it to you. Like
True.
most people do. So I
No,
mean,
you're right.
I don't know.
You're right. But it's interesting, that you said that. I know people who have a card who can buy legally in a dispensary and still buy off the street. I mean, with somebody that they have been, have a relationship with for decades, because it's cheaper for them to buy off the street than it is to buy at a dispensary.
Oh, okay, understandable. But
So
back
I
to-
don't know how.
I don't know, but either they might as well legalize it because it's going to eventually become legal all over the place. So I don't
Right,
understand, but I do feel that it's the gateway drug because that's what's that's what's presented to most people in middle school. They'll say, people come and that's when they start. Most individuals start with marijuana. They
Right.
may stay at marijuana, and they may progress to something more. Like
So,
in
okay. So you're
treatment.
saying young people.
Yeah, young people. That's when most people will tell you, "Oh, I started smoking at the age of 12," or
Right, right.
When you're doing an intake, the most people tell you that they started smoking very young, 11, 12, whatever, or unless they sneak it in, their parents are doing it and they sneak it around from their parents. They'll tell you it's a learned behavior. They saw their parents doing it, so they tried
Sure.
it.
Right.
I
So,
do feel it's a drug.
Right. And at that point, if they're, starting to smoke at that age, I can't see it as being self-medication.
No.
I see it as, as like you
It's
said, something
experimental.
social, something. Right, right. Now, what about adults who become addicted as adults? Do you see any particular drug that someone who starts using drugs as an adult?
So someone who uses drugs as an adult, my perspective of it is that they've used something while they were younger. They just went to a
Okay.
harder drug. Like we had a coworker who used to smoke cigarettes. I don't know if she smoked anything else. And she started smoking crack. So we was like, well, how do you come, our thought process was, how do you at age 40 something start smoking crack? Nobody listened to what
Right.
Whitney said. Crack is whack.
Right,
But-
right.
When you come down, when you go when you go deeper into what was her situation, she used other stuff before and just wasn't addicted or wasn't using it any longer and then relapsed or whatever the story is. But
Right.
I think most people, older people, Because if I go to, if I'm 54 years old, and if I start using some substance, my family would probably think I'm crazy because I don't smoke, I don't drink.
Right.
So, and what made me
Right.
decide to go pick up cocaine or
Yeah.
methamphetamines or
Well,
opioids?
and I feel it's a lot of it comes from opioid use. I've had 2 back surgeries,
Mhm.
and I've been on painkillers very rarely, on and off, very very rarely. I mean, I have a great doctor, and I know that there have been some neurologists and neurosurgeons and orthopedists that just gave it out like candy, and now
Yeah.
it's much more regulated. But I remember after my second back surgery, I was given morphine, in my IV, and the feeling that I had, I just got warm starting at my face all the
Mhm.
way down my body, and any sort of pain for anything that I had was gone, and I had a feeling of euphoria.
Yes.
And I remember, saying to my then husband, now ex-husband, I remember saying to him, "Wow, I can totally understand how people could get addicted to this."
Yeah, you can, because
So
I've had morphine in the IV, and you could
right.
feel like, but I don't know. Back when I did it, you control your pumps, but I say maybe the pumps was limited. You can only do 5 pumps within a
Right.
period of 100. I can't remember exactly, but you control your pump, and that feeling
Right.
is a very nice feeling. But because
Absolutely.
you are and we're not, we don't have the addictive personality, so
Right.
we were able to succumb. But most,
Right.
like the oxycodone, that oxy from Pharma, people get addicted and they weren't able to
Sure.
overcome it.
Right.
So that's what,
And
when
I,
the pills start
and
getting too expensive, then you move to something that's cheaper.
exactly, exactly. The doctors don't write the scripts anymore. You want to get that feeling that you got, or maybe it's genuinely because you still have pain. I
Yeah,
mean,
it can be.
I
And,
live with pain. I get
yeah,
it.
and pain is subjective. I can't tell a patient he's not having pain because
You're
you
right.
can't determine what pain level they're having. So it's very
Right.
subjective. A patient is continuously telling you have pain. You can't say no, you're not having pain. So you have to
Right.
address the pain. But I
Right.
think the opioid use now is controlled, like you said, because they're able to look and see if you're prescribed, if you took it already, if they're able to do a whole bunch of different ways to make sure it's controlled.
Right.
But we have to
And even
blame a lot of the
prescribers
providers.
themselves. What's that?
We have to blame a lot of that on some of the providers
Oh,
that
yeah.
prescribe it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, again, like I said, my doctor is really amazing about that. And he had said at one point to me, not that I was asking for pain meds, or he wanted to prescribe them. We were just having a general conversation. And we talked about the opioid crisis in the beginning, and then we talked about how it is now. And he said now providers get flagged,
Yes.
if they're over prescribing. And and I think that's good. And I had, again, I mean, I've worked in Jerry Psych, and one of the things that I had run into with some of our patients who were part of the VA was that they were getting their pain meds from the VA, and they would just keep writing the scripts, and then all of a sudden they also had the same crackdown, on writing scripts for pain meds. And that was difficult for some of the individuals, because now they're addicted to this pain medication. And withdrawal sometimes brought them onto the psych unit.
Yes.
What would you say, like, so you said that you worked in detox,
Yeah, I worked in
what would
detox
be
for a little while.
right, and what was the most common substances that you would potentially see someone come in
So
detox?
during my point period in detox, we had a lot of the individuals who were coming in from Puerto Rico. Like we had some connection with the hospital, had some connection with Puerto Rico, and they would fly
Okay.
him in, and that's when they were using the horse tranquilizers. So therefore, nothing would touch that. Like
Wow.
we didn't know how to treat it, and they
Right.
would become severely sick. Like methadone wouldn't treat it. Nothing we gave them would treat it. But the most besides that, if somebody who's local, it was a lot of crack abuse.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was in
Okay.
detox. Now I work in Brookdale in the detox. Their high acuity is alcohol. There's some opioid use. Okay, so it's like alcohol. I want to say methamphetamines may trump opioids, but we have
Okay.
a lot of alcohol, mostly alcohol, then methamphetamines, then opioids.
Right. Right. Now, I
In
never know
Brookdale.
if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Kratom,
Kratom.
Kratom. You
Yeah,
familiar?
so
Kratom.
kratom is one of the dangerous that gives you that opioid feeling. And
Yes.
it's so one of the doctors at Brookdale is on a committee trying to ban kratom out of the gas station because you can buy it in a
I
drink in the gas station.
Yes, you can, and I am all for that. And please, correct me if I receive inaccurate information, because when I was working in detox, that was something that people were coming in. Quite a few people coming in on that. And what the nurses said to me was, there's no way the regular tests that you do for the different drugs, this doesn't show up as any of those. Is that correct?
No, that's true. So we in Brookdale. So in New York, I've never come across anybody on kratom, but in Brookdale, there's a lot of individuals on kratom as well, and we have a different urine kit that tests for kratom. It doesn't show up like on a regular urine with all the other
Right,
urine tox. It has to be
right.
tested. So the patient has to tell you that they're on kratom for you to
Okay,
really know.
so you don't just automatically do that urine test?
They
Okay.
have to come in and tell you. They come in and tell us that that's what their substance is. Then we
Right,
test them.
right. And I haven't worked at that facility in a couple of years, so I don't know if that's something that, again, because it has become more widespread, that that they've kind of like upped that detection game as well. And how do you treat it? How do you treat a kratom
Just like
overdose?
opioids. So opioids, kratom is used at Brookdale. They use Suboxone to
Okay,
treat it because you have that same opioid withdrawal. And it's
right,
effective. I mean, it does help them come out of their withdrawals,
right, right. So
but it's a
anyone
very
who is
dangerous.
watching this, I know we get a lot of views on the replay, but anyone who watches this, do not let your children purchase and use kratom from the gas stations. Absolutely do not. I mean, I watched people detox from that, and it was ugly.
It's a very ugly detox. So, and it's sold in the gas station. Just be mindful when your children, even there, a friend could introduce it to them. It's a very addictive. They say it treats pain, but it's very addictive, and it gives you the opioid withdrawal. So
Right,
nobody wants
right.
to go through that.
As society, I feel that a lot of times people who have addictions, who are working through addictions, are looked down upon as, I don't know, losers, lazy, don't work. I mean, whatever, all the different stereotypes are. What can we say to these individuals who don't understand that there are a lot more dynamics to addiction than just somebody deciding that, they're going to start using a drug? Like, what can we say to people to help them understand the process and the difficulty of regaining your life after you stop using?
So, first of all, education is the number one factor here. So they have to understand that addiction isn't a disease, just like diabetes, just like hypertension, just like cancer. We are treating the disease, praying and hoping that the disease is overcome or handled. So until those individuals understand that addiction is a disease, they will always look down negatively at somebody who is using substance. But those individuals who are using substance also needs the tender love and care, just like somebody who is diabetic or have hypertension. So when we are giving service to individuals who are in addiction, it's rewarding to us, not only to the patient, especially when they do come out of their addictive state. So just be patient with those individuals and be patient with the ones who are treating those individuals, because we are really caring, and it's really, really rewarding that we are trying to provide services to these individuals who really are, some people cry for help, some people don't, but they need the help. But it's really, really important that we try our best to treat these individuals.
Right, absolutely. My sister is an addict, and she's clean for almost 3.5 years now. And
Mhm.
and she's been on my show. So I mean, this is, she's okay with talking about this. Using, methamphetamine for probably 15 years, not saying that the 15 years that she was addicted to it, but it definitely progressed. And, one of the things that she says to me is that, every morning when I get up and when I look at myself in the mirror, tell myself I am an addict and today I choose not to use.
Exactly. And
And,
that's a good affirmation.
and I
It's
think
one.
that is something that has really helped her because, I feel like some people with addictions and even to, mental health, different mental health disorders. Oh, I've been feeling really good lately, so I don't have to take my medication anymore. Um, they lose sight of the fact that they could fall back into that any time, because if you've been using that drug for 15 years, and I know some people, longer, then you have set up patterns of behavior that need to be changed.
Yes.
One of the big issues with my sister, again, that we've talked about, I'm probably not on the show because this was something that came up later, was, she said, in the morning I would get up, I would have my cup of coffee and I'd do a line.
Mm,
So that was her, like that was her schedule.
yeah.
And she said that she had a very, very difficult time when she would get up in the morning and have her coffee and then there was no line. She didn't want to do a line because she wanted to stay clean, but it was a battle. It was a battle within her. So she actually replaced, my mom is a big time tea drinker. And then she replaced her line with a cup of tea. And when she had been in jail because she failed a drug test. And when she first got out of jail, she was staying with our mom. And like I said, my mom's a big tea drinker. So my sister would have her coffee and her cigarette because that was her quiet time. And then she would sit down with my mom and have a cup of tea. And, and then that kind of replaced the behavior. So now she's at a point where, it's not as much I need to, to have the cup of tea to replace the line. It's if I have a cup of tea, it's because I'm socializing with my mom. But it's patterns of behavior, and it takes time to change them. And I think people don't recognize that.
Yes, it does. But the moment one accepts that there is an issue and they have a problem, that's the first step. And it
Absolutely.
and I commend your sister every morning for her staying. She's an addict and she's choosing to be clean today. That's going to take her a long way because she's
Absolutely.
recognizing.
I
So that's
agree.
positive affirmation she's doing every morning, and I tell her to keep it
Right.
up because she's going to go a long way.
Thank
But
you. I will tell her.
the ambulance is here, so I'm gonna have to run out.
Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you
And
so much.
hey, this is great timing though. So it was a
Yeah.
great show. Thank you so much, Dr. Denise. You go meet that ambulance
All
and
right.
keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye
All
bye.
right. You too. All right. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time with Dr. Denise. I think she had some really good information for us. And oh, there she goes. And again, talking about that kratom, it's definitely something. Don't use it. Don't let your kids use it, and just stay away from it. I've seen the effects of an overdose from it. I've seen someone come out of withdrawal from it. I mean, more than one someone's, again, when I worked on a detox unit, and it's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty at all. But, I have one thing for the viewers, a little bit, not a homework, but one thing for you to consider is, we talked about mental health and addiction and how, like, sometimes we use, different substances to self-medicate. People who use this different substances, I pulled a Kendall, to self-medicate. So I want you to think about, because I don't want people to be judgmental over addiction. Think about what your coping mechanisms are. Like, what is your biggest coping mechanism for everything in life? And then think about how you would feel or what would happen if that coping mechanism was taken away from you. We all try to maintain our coping mechanisms, and hopefully, we're using healthy coping mechanisms. But sometimes, again, when it comes to addiction, that's not a healthy coping mechanism. So think about your coping mechanism and how you would not want to give that up. And because life is scary. But then again, with addictions and with substance use, you have to, the individual, when they finally decide, can't tell anybody what to do. When the individual finally decides, I need to give this up, it's a huge adjustment, because again, that is a coping mechanism, and they are relearning how to do so many different things, because again, drugs were part of everything that they did. So I want to thank you for watching this evening. Please come back next Monday. Tomorrow is what, Stevenson and Yates. And then Wednesday is the empowerment show. What is Thursday? No, Friday. Oh, Daughters of the Divine Joy. Yes. So we have some great shows here on the PA Empowerment Network. What's our membership up to right now, Kendall? I feel like I'm doing the Jerry Lewis telethon. We only need, we need 150 subscribers to reach our 1,000 point. That is our goal. We are just slightly over a year old. And that's the first goal, is to reach 1,000 subscribers. It is free. It costs you no money. Just click on our link here on the PA Empowerment Network on YouTube and click subscribe, and then make sure that you like and share podcasts. So I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Mondays with Hope. Have a great week.
It's Mental Health Monday with Hope, a sanctuary where hearts can find solace. Together, we stand strong, united in our journey, discovering the strength within ourselves. Have no fear, for we're not alone.